Retention gang. How's it going, you guys? I hope everybody's doing well. Cheers. Just doing my morning routine. Got my coffee, got my Shilajit, did my grounding, watched the sunrise. Been really disciplined lately. I've been getting up before the sunrise every morning, going to bed early, sleeping like a baby, better than I ever have before. I think we're like 5 months into a retention streak right now. And man, diet's been on point. I've been crushing it, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I've been crushing it. It's not like I don't have my moments where I fall short. I've had a few flat lines on this journey, but I keep pushing through, and it's worth it on the other side every single time. And I feel like I've been kind of launched into a whole other dimension of existence, and the joy that I experience is just profound. And the clarity and the purpose-driven lifestyle that I now have, I mean, there's no turning back, and I'm not there's no end in sight, for me right now. This is just life. I feel like I've acclimated to this, and it's just life now, and I love it. I love my life, and I hope that you guys do too. And if you don't, I promise you, I can guarantee you, there's a solution. If you don't love the life that you're living, all you got to do is change some things. All right, you're gonna have to give some things up. Right? There's a quote from Hippocrates said this: "Before you heal a man, ask him if he's ready to give up the things that made him sick." Right? And that's really what it's about, man. My health and my well-being is a matter of the things that I've given up more than anything else. It's more of a process of subtraction than addiction. Oh, that works too. It's more of a process of subtraction than addition, though. That's what I want to say. So we remove the bad habits, and then health is a natural consequence of that. So the bad habits, including the corn, the masturbation, the fornication, the casual sex, relationships with people that are toxic, relationships with energy vampires and narcissists, going to the clubs, being in chaotic environments around too much chaotic frequencies, not spending enough time alone, all of these, the overstimulation in general. I could just it's all overstimulation based. We need to have less stimulation, okay? And then you can start adding things in. After you've subtracted some things, you can add some things in, like grounding to the earth on a regular basis, like sun gazing, like sunbathing, like exercise, like whole foods, like raw milk, like local eggs, clean, organic, non-GMO fruits and vegetables even. I don't do many vegetables, but I do some. So, I got a topic. Let's get into the topic real quick. I'm gonna try and keep this one short for you guys. So this is based off of some comments that I've gotten, and also some other comments I've seen on some other threads regarding spiritual attacks, okay? So I got somebody on here that's trying to argue that if I'm being attacked, it's basically my fault. It's something that I'm doing. It's like the law of vibration, and I attracted those attacks myself, and so basically it's my fault. So I want to address that. First of all, I want to give some credence to what this person is saying, because it's not entirely wrong. There is some truth to that for sure. And so before I really argue against that to a degree, I want to argue in its favor. Actually, I want to say that yes, our experience in the world generally has everything to do with what we're bringing to the table, right? So you get out what you put in, right? Energy returns to its source eventually. And so, yeah, there is a lot of truth to that, okay? But it's also a matter of perception, right? So when I talk about spiritual attacks, that's one way to word it. I could also call them spiritual tests. Anything that's an attack is also a test. So I'm not necessarily saying it's a negative thing. I'm not coming from a victim mentality. I'm just saying that when you are truly committed to something, and especially when you are confident and you are visible in public, like making content, or you're on stage or anything like that, you're going to face some level of criticism from other people. And it's not always going to be the constructive kind, because a lot of people just love to hate on anybody that they feel is doing better than they are. And that's not necessarily something that you attract. I mean, I guess on a level you do, but you're not doing it because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're doing something right. Okay, so I want to give some examples of this. So first of all, I think the greatest example of this of all is Jesus Christ, who, if you believe in Jesus as I do, was the only human that ever walked the earth without sin. He was a perfect human being. He was without sin. He was without flaw. And what did they do to him? He had enemies. Was he attracting that? You know what I mean? He was persecuted and then crucified. Okay? This guy was flawless and got tortured to death. So there's that. Then let's take some other examples. Martin Luther King comes to mind. His goals and vision was very righteous, very wholesome, very beautiful, very inspiring. He had enemies. He was ultimately killed by his enemies. Okay? Was he attracting that with some negative vibration? You know, I don't think so. I personally don't think so. Maybe you think differently. That's just another example. Okay, let's take another one. Bob Marley. Bob Marley was shot. They attempted to kill Bob Marley multiple times. Who they is up for debate, but he was shot at multiple times, and he did have enemies. And what was Bob Marley all about? You know, peace, love, harmony, don't worry, be happy, you know, love everybody. Like, one love, one God, one people. Nothing but positivity coming from that guy. Yet he was attacked constantly. All right. Is that his fault? I mean, on a level, yeah, it was his fault for being so positive, because in the universe, we have both positive and negative. We have good and evil. And evil really doesn't like good. And good really doesn't like evil. We don't tend to get along so well. So when you're really, really committed to good, guess what? You're going to have some enemies. You're going to have some people that want to pull you down. And my experience is that I don't like walk around feeling like I'm being attacked all the time. Especially lately, it's gotten better. I mean, as I grow spiritually and my perception changes, I don't feel like anything's an attack exactly. But at the same time, I have certain family members who will go unnamed that go out of their way on a regular basis to try and tell me that I'm crazy. It's just part of my experience. It's not, and I've no longer, I don't engage with it anymore. See, I used to get in arguments and try and defend myself. I've recently come to the point where I just let them say what they say, and I just don't engage. I don't respond, and I don't let it affect me. I'm happy, and I stay that way. They want to tell me that I'm crazy, and I just see the messages, and okay, that's your opinion. Cool, thanks for sharing that. It's very interesting, you know? So, yeah, I hope that clarifies some things. So, if you are experiencing quote-unquote spiritual attacks, it's not necessarily because you're doing something wrong. It could be because you're doing something right. At the same time, though, to give this fella some credit, yeah, in order to be really affected, so this is the difference. I think the attacks will happen, but if they affect you, the level of the effect that they have on you, that is your responsibility, right? Like, there's, in vampire lore, for example, vampires have to be invited in. And I think the same goes for demonic influence. On some level, for these demons, whether they be self-doubt, fear, confusion, lack of self-esteem, depression, anxiety, temptations, and so on and so forth, on some level, yes, we do have to allow those things in, and we allow those things in through certain activities or inactivities that are out of accordance with righteous principles or natural law. It's just that simple. So I'm going to close this video out with this. Substance abuse, fornication, casual sex, eating in a gluttonous way, unhealthy foods. These are a few examples of ways that you are allowing spiritual attacks to increase. So when you abstain from things like this, those attacks will decrease. People will try to mess with you, okay? But when that happens and you are very grounded spiritually, you might even thank these people. You might even have a sense of gratitude for what they're doing, because it's actually helping you grow stronger spiritually. So there's that. I hope you guys are staying on the path. If anybody needs any help, support, motivation, shoot me a message. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. It helps spread the message. Let's make this world a better place. Let's shine bright. Let's get it. Peace.